When will car dealerships adopt AI virtual reality training programs for new employees? What AI tools are you already using to save time, accomplish more, and deliver higher quality to your customers? Abhishek, Goel, and Kanishka Gavali with VALTEP.AI are here to take your questions. So join the live chat, say hello, make new friends, and learn from the best on ATI Auto Business. What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to ATI Auto Business, automotive ecosystem, where everyone learns more about the automotive industry. Let's get started with top industry news with headlines that include Manhattan high schooler has a 911 AI innovation. What is AI then and now? Plus, we have Proficient in Baltimore port updates. At the quarter hour, we're going to bring in Abhishek, Goel, and Kanishka Gavali. We're going to talk about VALTEP.AI training programs. We've got a panel with Brian Maxwell, Mark Corrao, David Ray Jr. So we have a pretty great show lined up for you. Please do stick around for all of that. I'm going to do some news here in a second. Please do say hello in the live chat. Leave a like, click share, click copy, grab that YouTube link. This is... There we go. This is show 344 in a row on a Tuesday. AI training programs. Yes, we're gonna address the elephant in the room. What is AI? Why AI? What's all this talk of AI? Abhishek Goel loves to talk AI. So does his partner Kanishka Gavali. He's with us too, and together they are VALTEP, and they're going to talk about what VALTEP is, what it does, why. Core beliefs, and I saw this, like subprime auto delinquencies with personalized payment links. Okay, yeah, see, Abhishek also is with DASEC, which does collections AI. So much AI and so little time, but we want to teach you more about it. In fact, David Ray Jr. loves to talk about AI, including large language models, LLMs. What Jay, what are you doing? 2 to 3 minutes in, I'm already done. I will say this, if you are done, that is fine. You're not gonna be able to get away from AI. And if you try, well, the disparity is gonna grow. So if you don't want to get left behind and you realize you're gonna embrace AI and all these tools, this show is for you. Man, the coming weeks are going to be for you. David Ray Jr. is in our panel. Brian Maxwell is in our panel. Now, Brian, see, Brian's on your side, asking questions about, what's going to happen, ChatGPT, risk of getting hacked. These are good questions. So, and AI roles, how ATI roles. We're in the middle. We're right there with you. We want to learn about it. It's not going away. Mark Corrao's in the panel. He's from Carsker. This is an innovative digital auction solution. He's got a lot of information, dealer, wholesale, inventory. So he's going to be great too. We are talking about the ecosystem. Not only should you know your ecosystem, but ask questions about other parts of the ecosystem. That's what we're going to do in our panel today after Abhishek and Kanishka blow our minds. I do want to give a shout out and a thanks to Joe Overby, Nick Zulovich we had a great live show here on ATI. They were live at Auto Intel Summit last Tuesday, and then they put it again on the front cover of Auto Remarketing. Thank you so much, Cherokee Media and Bill Zadites and crew. I really do appreciate it. We had a great show on Thursday. Sue and I were talking about dispatching fundamentals. Seemed to be a bit of a score with the ecosystem. So we'll be doing more dispatching fundamentals, and that's what's happening. That's the news, is Tuesdays we're going to get into AI, and Thursdays we're going to get into dispatching. And maybe the two shall meet. And this is cool. That show, I finished posting it today. Now it's already a podcast on YouTube and it's getting some clicks. So check out the podcast on YouTube. That's pretty cool. If you go to the homepage on ATI, just scroll down a wee bit. It's there. All right, cool. Lots of content. It is exciting to be cranking out this much content. So here, let's do this. Let's get on with the news. We're 5 minutes into the show. Fantastic. Now, at the top of the news, we're going to deviate from automotive for a second, but we will come back into it. This is a story about a New York City high schooler that created an astonishingly accurate AI algorithm for 911 callers to get the help they actually need. Pierce Wright, a soft-spoken 17-year-old junior at the Browning School in Manhattan, said his intricate model could assist emergency dispatchers, for instance, predicting when a caller is enduring a mental health episode. Get out of here. If the algorithm says, I think it's a mental health call, then you send a psychiatrist or a mental health professional with the EMS crew to assist the patient and provide the more appropriate care instead of just sending the police every time. It's a pretty good idea. To design the algorithm, Wright combined his experience as an EMS worker with his data science progress. He spent the past year painstakingly coding the AI, training it with nearly 2 decades worth of statistics gleaned from the NYC's massive online database of about 24 million emergency calls. His work paid off, he says, because his model can predict what resources are needed based solely on factors such as incoming call zip code, time of day, police precinct, and initial severity level. The model has a 94.5% success rate, 2.2 higher than human counterparts. Wow. There is, he won his award. Several accolades. Bright young star in the AI landscape. And I mean, it's a startup. I wonder if we'll see something like this, on Shark Tank coming soon. The creator was quick to say the program is meant to help dispatchers, not replace them. Note. So the AI takeover is happening Tuesday nights on ATI. So what is AI, Jay? I mean, really, what are you... Okay, you gave the 911 example, and it's all newfangled and stuff. Well, I say this. If you're using Grammarly, anybody using Grammarly, anybody composing emails and getting help from little squiggly lines on the screen, guess what? That's AI. And we've been using it for a while. It kind of crept into our lives. And, over time you realize, wow, I'm going to take this whole thing and post it into Grammarly, and I got all kinds of errors. Wow, I didn't even know that. Little did I know that hyphens and semicolons are harder to use than I thought. So, maybe a couple years ago, you heard about ChatGPT. Anybody start using? I started using it in 2022. End of 2022, I believe it was. Last year went by, kind of like, ChatGPT, okay. Fine. And then, you start to, if you look at the capabilities, have you heard about ChatGPT Premium? Man, I'm just hearing about this thing. I didn't even know. So if you pay a little bit more, you get all kinds of crazy functionality. Now, I heard about this thing called AI Marketing Institute, and I keep talking about it. So like at parties when people talk about, I don't know, cars or what, I'm talking about AI Marketing Institute. Because it's amazing. And when you see the excitement that people feel towards what this AI, what new AI, not this AI, but what new AI programs can do, they're very passionate. There seems to be 2 distinct camps, extremely passionate and please go away. Well, in the extremely passionate camp, this guy, he's introducing the world's first AI interviewer GPT vetting. I know. At first, it stings at first. It's like your first scotch. It's overwhelming, and then you're like, man, give me more. So, it's a little, this is one of the AI interviewer skins, but think about it. Listen, if you could get through 100 times more candidates in less time in a round 1, just weed out, and then you personally talk to, the 10% left. Anyways, it's fascinating. Then we read stuff like, what about if it can predict political orientations from blank faces? And, that we're going to see the scary stuff on, if you watch, if you watch scary TV, local scary, yeah, you're going to get the scary. How about this one? The AI death calculator. Frighteningly accurate. I'm probably not going to use it. And they even warned, watch out, because there's a threat of those curious, there's copycat, hijacker, personal information programs, and all this stuff. Yeah, it's going to get crazy. But let's remember this use case, because this is what we're trying to focus on. And you're not going to get it. You're going to see it in articles. When you see AI in articles, your goal is to think tools to improve faster with higher quality. That's the point of AI. And we're still going to see, then, yeah, here's a combination. Here's where EV meets AI, not happening. Okay, fair enough. But here's one, EV meets AI happening. Driverless tractor trailers may start hauling freight in Texas later this year. A company plans to start hauling freight on I-45 between Dallas and Houston with 20 driverless trucks. Anybody want to guess the company? Put it in the live chat if you got it. Mark Rodeke is here. What's going on, Mark at Superflow Systems? And, Jim at Retail My Ride is here. What's going on, Jim? And then that's us. It's the three of us. I think Moosey's here too. So there's four of us. Now, that's a joke. Millions of people watch later. The self-driving semi outfitted with 25 laser radar and camera sensors, Aurora, that's the company, Aurora, plans to start hauling freight on I-45 between Dallas and Houston with 20 driverless trucks. Within 3 to 4 years, Aurora and its competitors expect to put thousands of self-driving trucks on America's public freeways, run nearly around the clock without brakes. Oh. See, that's just lost half the audience right there. We're down to 2. Accelerating delivery times. Yeah, see, driving these trucks around the clock without brakes. Yeah, that's going to be hard to compete with. In less than 9 months, trucks with Aurora systems will start carrying loads between terminals from FedEx, Uber Freight, Warner, and others in Texas, where snow and ice are generally rare. Now, we know this, too. Here's what we do know, is that, when did we hear that beer truck running across Colorado? Well, it was years ago, right? Still people driving trucks. So, it's... Yeah, I'll say this, too. I had a meeting where somebody was showing me an AI podcasting. Shout out Samantha at UVI. And I said, as she showed it to me, she had to almost apologize as she's showing it. And that's one of the things happening with AI, is as we talk about our passion of AI, we almost have to be apologetic. I'm so sorry to show you this tool, this amazing new tool. There must have been a time when, when the doorstop was invented, and the guy that was demonstrating the doorstop said, no, don't worry, cousin, I still need you. I still need you with your foot to, lean against the door, but I got this thing, it's called a doorstop, and over time you're going to love it. Something like that. I've been talking about Proficient Auto Logistics. Now, Proficient Auto Logistics, as we know, Delaware-based company, that's combining with 4 other auto transport businesses, Delta, Deluxe, Sierra, and Tribeca. Well, here's the update. Proficient Auto Logistics is aiming to raise $215 million from its IPO, not just the $100 million originally estimated. A midpoint price of $15 per share will bring in that $250 million. And I have heard this is a big deal. There are other companies there's investment companies and auto transport businesses that are looking at this news and thinking, what changes do we need to make? Yeah, this is big. And I even talk, when I do talk about it, I also mention like Assertis, acquiring Guardian, recently acquired RCG. And I said at the beginning of the year that we're gonna see a big broker acquire another big broker. And we haven't seen it yet, which doesn't worry me. I'm not worried about it. But I think we're still, we're going to see it. There is more consolidation acquisition coming. You see it in the dealer space. Man, there's all kinds of changes in the acquisitions of dealerships. And we are now going to see, because of demand, and even if you look at, like, if you watch, like, freight capacity, demand, curves, and economics, we're still, I don't know if we've hit the bottom, but we're near catfish. Yeah, we're something near catfish. I have a ATI special report on Baltimore Bridge collapse. It's like a 8 to 10 minute video. Encourage you to watch it, learn more about the collapse and the information. But I just saw this breaking news. A stranded Thai ship finally exits Baltimore. It's been stuck there for a month. Can you imagine? This Thai ship, Thai flagged vessel, is among 4 cargo ships. Others in the channel were the Panama flagged Balsa 94, the Netherlands flagged cargo vessel Semigracht, I don't know, and the car carrier Carmen, owned by the Scandinavian shipping firm Wallenius Wilhelmsen. So that's awesome for them to, can you imagine? Oh, we're free! I'm like the Count of Monte Cristo. I'm out of here, man. And Hyundai Glovis earmarks $750 million for 6 more supersized car carriers. Standing on mainland, you'd think there's plenty of ocean-worthy vessels to carry vehicles, but we keep seeing more news about it. If you just there's always ocean vessel news. Hyundai Glovis is looking to boost its car carrier fleet, including privately owned and chartered vessels, from the current 87 ships to 110 by 2027. Car carriers have been among these shipping's hottest sectors in recent years. A shortage of tonnage after a decade of limited orders lifted their value as rates hit record levels after a post-pandemic rebound in car demand. This subsequently pushed many owners in the segment to secure slots, mostly in China, for supersized vessels. And I think BYD has been in the news. So, hey, leverage ATI in your business. I don't ship cars. I move information. It's ATI. Go to the website, ATIAutobusiness.com. Click on Contact Us. Get the podcast and know your ecosystem. Do me a favor, stick around, because right after this, we're going to be live with Abhishek and Kanishka, and we're talking AI training programs. We'll be right back.
The evolution of transportation. In the beginning of car shipping, there were stone tablets and woolly mammoths, very primitive vehicle delivery. Then, horse-powered haulers with mile-long paper BOLs, causing enormous time hassle and massive stacks of paperwork for dealers, shippers, and carriers. What were we thinking? But now, with modern technology and cell phone mobile apps, simply click a button, order quick, reliable auto transport to pick up and deliver your cars safely and on time. It's instant car shipping at the best market rate. Start saving money today and get signed up. Visit OneAuctionView.com.
Are you completely stressed out from all the calls and the contracts and the verifications of loads where nobody ever answers the phone? Call Murphy Auto Dispatch Services today. Murphy Auto Dispatch Services has over 15 years in the transport industry. We are your office while you are on the road. We book, we verify, and we bill out your loads for you. We have an excellent accounting staff and an even better dispatch team. Give us a call today at 417-273-0021, or if you want to email me, it's murphyautotransport31@yahoo.com. Give us a call today.
Murphy Auto Transport Services. You need help shipping a car or staying loaded? Talk to Sue. She's my co-host on Thursdays. Yeah, my mind is already blown and it's before the show. Please do help me wish a very warm welcome to Abhishek and Kanishka. Strap in, here we go. Gentlemen, can you see me and hear me okay? You can see me, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can see you
Cool.
guys.
Mic
Yeah, I
check,
can
one,
see
two.
you.
All right, cool. Do me a favor. All right, Abhishek, we'll start with you. We talked, what, 3, 4 weeks ago. Please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Hi, everyone. This is Abhishek. I am the founder of VALTEP. We are an edtech platform. I have also been part of data science for the last 10 years, and I'm part of adjunct professor in UTD Dallas and SMU Dallas, and also sit in the advisory board and the data science data science courses. What I realized is that students were looking for new ways to learn. They did not like the old 2D or videos, and that's how we took the AI. That's what we took the virtual reality along with artificial intelligence, so we can personalize it to make it more engaging and fun. So in short, we do gamified version of trainings that can engage audiences and get you massive results.
See, and man, this is great. I'll just say hello to Kanishka and then we'll keep going. Kanishka, please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Hello all. My name is Kanishka, and I'm working as primarily I'm working as an senior project manager or technical side. So I'm involved in all of the augmented and virtual reality projects, all from starting from pre-production until it's been deployed or in post-production stage. Said that my past experience has been building apps for virtual reality and augmented reality, and uh, what excites me about WildTap is how it adds a layer of data analytics and artificial intelligence, and how it swiftly provides automated instructions so that it helps the technology to grow alongside. There are a number of IoT devices that could be plugged in, which again just gets the thing going. And really excited to be here on the show. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to set the stage and say that because I talked about two camps, and Jim said he's in the stay away from me camp. You know, I've got to believe that just hearing just in this intro section is that like the next generation. I don't really want to talk generationally, but I don't know if there's any way to get around it. Because doesn't the next generation find, when you say virtual reality and training, like, yeah, sure. And you said gamified. So I'm going to say two things. Is that, well, I'll probably say more than that because I'm kind of bubbling over with different ideas. One is that I play Fortnite. You guys know what Fortnite is? Right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how many people play video games in their spare time. I do it because they're extremely challenging, and there's like live players, and it's intense. It's way more intense than playing a computer. And I think that that's probably the level of brains of AI. Like you're playing 100 other live people at the same time. The other thing is that when I got my first job, work at flipping burger joint, I worked at Wendy's. What did they do to train me? They sat me down with VHS videotapes. Well, what's the difference? Meaning, it doesn't have to be a person that trains you. It can be a program of some sort. And then once you get the basics or whatever. So where do we start with AI VR training programs?
Yeah, see, I think you brought in a great point, right? Wendy's did that in, I think, 90s when VHS was becoming popular. And what they found out is that they can retain, it's not just an easy way that I don't have to get trainers to every place and pay them for the traveling expenses. But we also found out is that a lot of the younger kids, they're smart. They can just pick it up on the go when I'm showing videos versus trying them to make them sit through a 1 day classroom training. And it's flexible.
And if you gamify, see, and that's the magic word, if you gamify things, there's another level of interaction. Which is, I think, when we as people try to gamify things, hey, it comes out differently.
Yeah.
No, I'll give all the credit to Kanish because he comes from 10 years of gaming background. So the the level of his creativity is mind-boggling. Let's watch this video. I think that will get everybody more excited and more connected.
Okay. Should I just share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead. Take it away. Great idea.
Yeah. So we are primarily presenting three of it. So first is our product launch, what VALTEP is all about, and what we do. So I'll just play that a bit. I somehow might also need to share the audio. There you.
I'm gonna take this screen. You're gonna share it again in a minute, but we're gonna talk for a second. I'm gonna say that I was thinking about, I made this joke about this guy and his cousin, and he invented a door stop, okay? Because his cousin always just held the door. I literally just made that up. Okay. But I keep thinking about AI like a toolbox. Whereas one day Caveman A said to Caveman B, so there's going to be these things called tools. And Caveman B said, I don't get it. I use my hands for everything. Caveman A said, well, yeah, no, we're going to start making these things called tools. Okay, I still don't get it, but, whatever, man. And Caveman A shows up with a tool one day and goes, this is a shovel. Okay, neat, but I use my hands. Nah, yeah, you can. But you get dirt under your nails, you start hitting weird stuff. Use a shovel. It's faster, it's easier. And in today's world, this whole thing sounds ridiculous because obviously, of course, we use shovels and not our hands. And I think that's where we're at. Like, we're almost at this, it's going to be this hard road of learning that now there's this new set of tools. Oh, you're on courtesy mute, which I'm a fan of. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate that.
No, you're absolutely right. It's like Henry Ford, since we are in the auto show, let's bring an auto example. It's like Henry Ford going to the to those buggy drivers and say, what do you need? And it's like, I need faster and better horses. They could never imagine that you can put a diesel engine and you can make, and they will run forever. A horse has its limits. You cannot make a horse carriage go for 12 hours. It's just, but the guys thought that if I feed the horse properly, if I give them enough breaks, they can go faster and they can go longer. But that's not the reality of life, right? And that's exactly where, like, with the evolution that we are in, we brought the first time it was just a one-cylinder engine or two cylinders. Now we have 6, 8, I don't know, 16. The trains have got so many bigger engines. So we just figured out how to make bigger and bigger engines to solve our problems. So AI is the same evolution.
And that is a true story. That really did happen. People said to Henry Ford, we just need faster horses.
Yes.
Yeah, that really happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
If you read Henry Ford's biography, he goes on and talks about it again and again, right? And that was the same thing with car making, right? The car making earlier was not like if you look at the Toyotas of the world, they figured out how to make batch cars and they put it in a conveyor belt, right? And that's how the Toyota way started, right? So and that's what Henry Ford did it, and then his company took off because he could make faster and cheaper cars now.
Well, and I'll tell you, when you say that, and as we talk about adaptation, evolution, and change, is that I'm always surprised when I see how many robotic arms are working on the assembly line. It's shocking if you're not used to it. But those assembly line workers, they're probably used to it.
Absolutely. And I'm sure 20 years ago that was shocking to start using one.
Right.
The first time it came out, and I'm sure when the first factory, I don't know who installed it, which company installed it in which plant, but the first time when they installed it, it was like ghosts. I don't know if you remember seeing that, like Mercedes came out with a video on the Mother's Day last year. And it was a great promo, and it basically showed the Mercedes-Benz wife, she took out the car for the first time, and people thought that she's a ghost. And then she has to, the car was out of diesel or oil, like gas. So she had to stop in a small village, and only nobody would give her oil also, because they thought the ghost has come in and asking for oil. On top of that, there's this car,
That's
right?
awesome,
And
man.
it was a Mother's Day thing that she and the daughter actually took the first ride off, and Mercedes was never willing to do that because she was not able to take that risk. And he was like, "What if this happens and that happens?" And that woman just takes the car out for a ride.
So, all right, I know somebody's thinking, because they, like Gary, he watches ATI. He knows, okay, all right, you guys are just talking theoretically. What does this really look like? So here's what I want to do. I want to cut to break. We're going to bring in the panel, and we're going to start to talk about what does some of this application really look like. We got Brian Maxwell, who is a dealership training professional. Mark Corrao, who's with CarScore Auctions. He's got a lot of experience in the dealership, in wholesale, in inventory. And David Ray Jr., who loves talking tech, large language models, and all that stuff. It's going to get really interesting. So do me a favor, stick around. Right after this, we're going to go into the panel. Please ask your questions in the live chat. We'll be right back.
AuctionVCommerce is the universal support solution to help brick-and-mortar auctions respond to the needs of digital buyers and sellers with greater efficiency, accountability, and more access. AuctionVCommerce is a bridge between the dealers of the past and the auction of the future.
Transport Auto Quoter is by far the leading auto quoting software on the market, and the only auto quoter with a pro version that comes preset with accurate pricing for anywhere in the U.S. So you don't have to worry about it. The best part is that no change with your current software is needed. Just plug TAQ in and start booking jobs. Carriers can easily plug TAQ into their current websites and start making money right away. I bet you're wondering how we do this instantly and accurately 24/7. Well, constant analytics is the key. Our PriceWatch team is constantly monitoring current market conditions, paying close attention to seasonal and quick-moving industry changes. At the end of the day, it takes a lot of time and data to maintain good pricing, time that most of us just don't have on a daily basis. So free yourself up. Using TAQ Pro is really a no-brainer. Save time and money, maximizing your leads and optimizing your online investments. You'll finally be able to sleep well at night knowing that TAQ is on the job selling for you 24/7. Never missing a potential job.
Don't lose any more sleep worrying about missing leads. Answer the quotes when they come in, the right time, the first time, every time. Use transportautoquoter.com. Thank you so much for taking the time. All right, we have a different kind of show tonight. It's AI. We're talking AI. We're doing this. Let's go into the panel. I wish a warm welcome to David and Mark. Gentlemen, can you hear me and see me okay?
Definitely.
Great to be here.
All right, cool. Brian is on his way in. David, you got in here first. David, please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Sure. Great to be back. My name is David Ray. I've been working in technology for about the last 6 or 7 years. I built a series of products for shippers, brokers, and carriers. Currently working as an information technology consultant. I'm just here to contribute whatever I can to the conversation. Excited to be back.
Thanks, David. We're happy to have you back. And Mark, please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
All right, gentlemen, nice to meet you all. Jay, thanks for having us back. My name is Mark Corrao. I've been in the wholesale industry for good 30 years or so. Worked for an enterprise rent-a-car for 28 years. And over that time, we wholesaled about 1 million cars a year. So we worked with teams in the wholesale industry for a very long time, dealers, independent dealers, franchise dealers. And, it was time, we're moving forward in technology, and we felt like the wholesale world was moving online. And so I got together with a few fellas and partners, and we kind of just tried to answer 3 questions, really. It was, how can we make acquiring and balancing inventory easier for dealers? How do we kind of reduce the auction noise? Can we give control back to the buyer and seller with support and not necessarily interference? And the last thing was, can we run a flat fee based model that's economical to all? And after we were able to answer yes to all those questions, or that we're still answering yes to all those questions, we're learning to build a new business from ground up. And it's an old practice of the auction, but it's a new business to think about and rethink about. So really, like I think David just said, I'm here to learn, take notes, and whatever I can learn to serve our dealers, credit unions, and banks with technology or anything, I'm for it. I'm here for it. So, Jay, thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for taking the time. All right, so we're all going to have little homework assignments while we move forward, okay? David, I know that you are always thinking about tech and problem solving. And so here's what I ask you is, do you think of ways where AI can improve logistics?
Absolutely. It's probably one of the things I think about the most. I think in terms of making this relevant for the audience, there were a couple of things I was thinking about coming into the panel tonight. To me, there's kind of three buckets where we're going to see software and AI specifically play an important role in improving efficiencies in logistics. And it's going to show up in three forms. And the first form is like a co-pilot. So when I think about, I've worked with dispatchers for the majority of my career in tech. So I think about how many trucks could a dispatcher manage? Right now, maybe they can manage between 1 and 5. You may get a co-pilot that allows them to manage 10 to 20 to 30, who knows? But I see AI playing a huge role in helping them become more efficient. Now, it's not to say like, oh, we're going to get rid of the dispatcher. It's just to say that the existing person doing that role and doing that job can manage way more. The second thing is more on the predictive analytics side, or prediction engines, where you can say like, if I'm a dealership and I want to know when are these cars going to arrive, I can use some sort of AI or artificial intelligence to help my staff know, like, okay, maybe I need to move the recon team up, or maybe I need to know how long it's going to take for this vehicle to get listed. And I think that's going to be an interesting space to play in. And then the third is just general automation. And you see these more in like chatbots and support, customer support, where let's say somebody wants an ETA request, or they want to know, where is the vehicle currently located or anything like that. That could potentially be answered without needing any human intervention. So again, three kind of buckets that I've been thinking about: co-pilot, prediction, and then full automation. The one distinction I want to make, though, is with full automation, it's not necessarily like I'm taking over the entire role of somebody. It's just saying this one specific task would not require any human intervention. So hopefully that answers your question.
And by the way, thank you, David. That was amazing. And I also want to remind you, I want to say this, is that, see, this show is actually not, this isn't like some polished stone ready to be sold in a jewelry store. My thought was, if we're going to have this meeting, let's just make it a show. So we're talking like there's a whiteboard and coffee and bear claws, and it's, it's late and nobody cares. That is actually this show, which is cool. Because, David, you took full advantage of that moment, and I got it, and I love it. So, Mark, I want to ask you, in what ways can you see AI assisting in what you're doing?
Well, first, I'll say I'm missing the bear claw, so I didn't get it. I'm a little upset.
It's on the way.
And the other thing I'll say is, I always like to be not the smartest guy in the room, and I'm certainly that in this room. So it's great to be among smart people here. Early stages, Jay, I did do a little bit of homework. I mentioned that we're running a flat fee-based model. And how do we that? We're 4 guys running an auction. We're not hiring 500 people to go inspect vehicles. and we're not hiring 400 salespeople to go out and talk to dealers and credit unions and banks. We're running on efficiency. And the model is efficiency and effectiveness for not only us as a company, but for our dealers, credit unions, our buyers and sellers. And so as I start thinking about VR and AI, it's funny you mentioned gamifying, by the way, because I'm always thinking about how can we gamify maybe our app, our site. But in the VR world, I started thinking about maybe an introductory training to use our site for dealers, kind of help them understand, I push this button, I push that button. Our site is pretty intuitive, but it certainly would help to have a nice little VR introductory training. And then on the company side, I would expect VR to help us with onboard training. So as we do grow and as we build employees and stages and regional departments, the onboard training is so much, I think it can be so much more quicker to adapt. And I think you guys kind of hit that at the beginning of the program. So I was thinking about that as well. From an AI standpoint, the intelligence, the automating tasks piece, man, there's a number of solutions I think we can learn in the wholesale or auction business. Certainly a solution is on the condition reporting itself, writing up these cars. As I mentioned, we don't hire 600 vehicle inspectors. We believe that the dealer understands the vehicle the best and writes up their own car. But if we could help them understand how to write that car up, or maybe even involve some AI in writing up the car condition to make that process go a lot faster and smoother, certainly a solution there. Another solution I think maybe is just service answering, key questions. So any kind of key questions that come into our company, it would be really nice to have AI rather than, the four of us trying to answer every question and still be out on the road. And so I look at that, and then I look at it as an opportunity post-purchase. So as you're buying cars and selling cars on the site with the auction, things come into play with AI that I think could automate titles, payment, arbitration, the kind of desk work that we do to satisfy the sale and make sure that post-sale and post-purchase are as smooth as possible for our customers. And the last thing I was thinking about was maybe the AI helping us with, and it wasn't mentioned, but I could certainly see it as a solution for performance reporting within our company and helping us understand kind of where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. And I love performance reporting and having that data available quicker to make or allow us to make decisions faster and target our dealers better. And then I just wrote down a note here because I was completely unaware that our guests are in the collections AI piece. And we, as you see in my background there, we do a lot of work with credit unions and banks and repossessions. And collections is part of our vocabulary, 10 times every hour. So we're constantly looking at repossessions, and we have a special section in our auction that focuses just on repossessions and catering to the credit unions and banks. So all that stuff. I did a little bit of homework. I don't know enough. I know enough to be dangerous, but not enough to be smart, Jay. So I'm learning. I'm learning, and I can't wait to kind of get in the future.
Because you just gave us training, predictive, and echoing the predictive, echoing the automation, and then I also heard kind of partnering up in the vehicle inspection space, meaning a lot of this AI doesn't have to be reinvented. There are already partners that can be added and plugged in. You got customer service facing, which again I think involves training and probably predictive. And then the post-purchase, which would, again, be just automating processes, right? I think I got a handle on this stuff, huh? So, and then you've got reports and insights. Yeah. How much time can be saved there? And then finally, collections. Abhishek, take it away.
So perfect, right? And that's what I think. I just want to add one more distinction in our conversation. See, AI is really awesome when we are thinking about efficiencies and improving, right? think about, like, we used to talk so much about Lean Six Sigmas of the world that was helping us improve the process instead of a 10-step process. Like G was such a huge company and had a huge influence on corporate America, and it kind of trickled down to all of us. But now it's all about software. So it's not no longer just sitting and doing it, but it's about improving your processes, and now AI coming and supplementing and helping the humans to get it even better, right? Because the margins of the businesses are shrinking, and we need to do better to get to more margin, more volume, etc. Do more with less. Now the VR side actually comes in, and I loved Mark, your example of VR on the website. Means I have not even thought about it honestly, but the next generation of the website would have, like, right now we are actually, there is Chrome browsers etc. coming up in the market where you can take a website and make a VR based website. So especially for like automakers or anything that is in manufacturing or anything that has got a deep process, and a 3D piece of it can be added to it. It's going to be a game changer. So you don't have to go to metaverse to see the engine, but you can actually see it in the website itself, right? And the other distinction I just wanted to add to that is that the VR plus AI can be a huge help for training. And just because, and the reason is that, see, when I grew up, I used to love videos, right? I never loved the still camera and the pictures, but I love videos and I love movies. I can sit and watch back-to-back movies the whole day, just eat popcorn and watch movie. And my daughter, she loves games, and she loves high-end games, right? Where so she's not a big fan. Okay, I can watch movie with you. I do watch movie, but if I really want more entertainment, then I want to get out my hands and I want to put all my five senses to work, which what is what a game does, right? So that's what I'm saying, that we are all transitioning and going to the next level, and the VR and AI enables you to do better training, faster training. And the most important thing that VR enables is a better muscle memory. So, we hire an experienced drivers because they have hand, eye, mind, legs coordinated. So even if something has to happen in the next 10 seconds, they will get it, and they can stop the car and they'll save the inventory. That's the reason we bring in experienced driver. We save on insurance, we save on training, we save on so many things, but we pay them higher cost. But now what if I have to say that let's get inexperienced drivers and put them on VR and train them? So now you reduce your cost, and yet you have a better driver working for you. And on top of that, now you'll be the coolest company in town because all the young kids, all the Gen Zs want to come and work for you because you have this cool device. They all want to put their hands on it.
I want to say, okay, so see, I think when you talk VR, now you're inside of a time warp, inside of a wormhole in another dimension. My point is that AI is already a stretch, and then you add VR to it. Now, I think of, okay, how do I apply what he's talking about? Well, if kids could learn basic mechanics with VR, now you've got an application that would teach them something they couldn't learn otherwise. They can't get under a hood of a car.
Exactly. And I'll actually add one more thing. When we talk to the kids in the community colleges and high schools, they do not have an understanding of what is the day-to-day job looks like. So they feel like I was talking to the Mississippi Community College board, and they're like, we want to use this because today when a kid graduates, he doesn't know if he wants to be a nurse or if he wants to be a plumber or he has to be a mechanic. And he doesn't want to be a plumber because he doesn't want to fix toilet. And we have so many examples in the last 4 years where kids came out as plumbers and they started their own company, and all they're going and catering is to new corporate buildings and new homes. So he said 80% of my revenue comes from putting the toilet rather than fixing the toilet, putting the pipes in the building, rather than fixing the pipes in the building.
Not to mention that the secret is there is a shortage of trade professionals that could probably benefit from some such training. And I'll just add this, is that when I play Fortnite, I'm seeing a world where I have abilities that there's no way anybody could describe that world to me. But when I'm playing Fortnite, I get it, I see it, I know all this different stuff. And so when we see virtual reality through those kinds of lenses, it's amazing. This is pretty
I'll
wild.
I'll give you a quick example. I'm 53 years old. When I was 4 or 5 years old, maybe 6 years old, I asked my dad what he did, and how, when he goes to work, what does he do? And he tried to explain it to me, and this was 50 years ago. And I said, no, there's a piece of paper on your desk. What does it mean? What does it say? And what do? You just sign it and move it on? Like, that was my perception of the on-the-job training or what you do at work. Fast forward to now, I've got a 13-year-old who watches YouTube all day and is 100 times smarter than me as it comes to applications and moving into the world. So I get excited from that standpoint that, just the way people learn. And if it's an easier way to learn, we always talk about creating habits with our customers. But if it's an easier way to learn, doesn't matter what age you are, bring it on.
And I would like to show this one small 1-minute soft skill video that would give us a lot of insight into how, like, soft skill, which is the very common thing, right? We don't pay so much attention to soft skills, but it's a game changer when you think about young generations and corporate environments on how to be professional, or even for a coffee shop. Like, if you have and we have all been to coffee shops, and we are stuck in a line because the guy wants to talk to everybody, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and we are like, hey, I need to go to work. And everybody's tapping their feet. The guy should have understood the body language of people, that this is the time, is a hustle time. It's not
good
stop
point.
time.
I see. It's a good example. That's right.
And the other time, sometimes you are stressed out and you really don't know how to order the coffee also. And then you're like, okay, this guy should help us out. And that connectivity is what gets the coffee shop going. We all have our go-to drink places, right? Because those guys have figured out how to help us, how to talk to us, how to some kind of an additional service, or maybe he has asked for a cup of water, and thus you said, okay, this is the place I need to go every day to get my water or to get my coffee. And that's what soft skill is all about. And this can be trained for front-end workers, like all the sales guy, right? Like when we think about dealers, right? They get so many footfalls, and you have to really see people with their body language. Nobody taught us how to deal with body language, and if they teach us manually, it takes a lot of time. We talk about proteges in our workplaces, and these proteges are really just shadowing a senior guy who is a bestseller out there, but he has to shadow for 6 months to a year to get all the good skills out of him. But now I can create all those scenarios in a simple VR headset, and that what is your best way to sell? What are the difficult customers? How do you work with a difficult customer? When a customer comes in, how do you really respond to them rather than react to them? And remember, our subconscious mind, like we all talk about equity, but when a situation happens, our subconscious mind picks up and we just regret it later on. As humans, we want to do best, but unfortunately, in stress situations, we are not able to respond. But when you do the VR-based training, your muscle memory comes up again, and that's the reason I keep bringing that. There is a part of us that is all we all know about the value of muscle memory, and that's where if you can get it done faster, get that muscle memory up and going through repetitive practice, then you are much ahead of the game. So let's see this video.
Yeah, dude, go ahead, take it away. Wow.
Yeah, before I play in the video, so a couple of things which I would just want to touch base is with regards to virtual reality. So there are two aspects of this which we are not able to may not be able to connect, but just for the audiences, the thing is that once you put on this headset, there are two aspects which drive this technology thoroughly, and the one is that a 360-degree immersive simulation. So Jay, like you said, playing a Fortnite. So like, let's say for example, if you're playing a Fortnite and standing actual in the play area without any distractions apart from your 2D screen. So that is one thing, that is the amount of immersion that you get while you are in virtual reality. And second important aspect is that in games, as of now, spatial audios, as in the 360 3D audios, are driven, but they are not with a focus of what the player's orientation or player's position is, But through virtual reality, it happens. Let's say, for example, the Abhishek, he's coining the term like building muscle memory. So it happens very naturally in virtual reality. Reason being that there is amount of immersion, and the spatial or 3D audio works in a favor of us, and that drives the whole situation. So yeah, said that, I'll just share my screen and I'll just walk you through the soft skill video.
Hello, welcome to the soft skill tutorial.
Hello, what would you like to have for your coffee?
Hey, what happened?
Cool. All right, cool. We're back. Well, you know, and I'll say this too, is that everything is a work in progress. But when you talk about soft skills, you just made me think of when I played. I'm into videos and games. And when I played Beer Tapper in the arcade back in the 80s, there was something about, after playing for a while, I thought, well, I could probably work in a bar and serve beers and get change. I get it now. That was a form, right? Little did I know that was like, you know, beginner AI VR training. Also, when I play Fortnite, I'm on a console. If I was in VR and I was in the game like it's Ready Player One, that would be so intense. That would be pretty wild. So, if we look to the future of being in the coffee shop, let's say we take what we just saw and we go 5 years in the future with dedicated coffee shop VR training, with the foot tapping and the reading body language, because you brought up a great point. There's always somebody thinking, how do they not know? How does the employee not know there's a problem here? But guess what? The employee doesn't know, I guess. Right? How am I at the grocery store and they've been talking for 5 minutes and they don't know that, you know, stop talking. I got to get out of here. How do they not know? Maybe they don't. That'd be some good training.
And we recently are starting to talk to Dallas ISD, and and we talk so much about school shootings, and so we are actually working to prepare a VR training that can train the kids and the teachers how to respond in a stress situation if a gun shooting comes up in the
Wow.
school. And we want to give that for free, like absolutely free across every school. So the idea is that the use cases are so many, you know. And from a business perspective, one more great thing that we see, every businessman wants to have the best salesman multiplied, right? But we know that is not practical. But now, at least with VR training, we can learn about the best salespeople, put them in VR headsets, and train the rest of the employees around that.
So you put a headset on the best guy, gal, hit record. Is that what you do? No.
No, we basically take all the situations and how he's handling it.
Okay, so question. How would you capture the situations that he or she is handling? Would you record from their point of view, or how does that work? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Kanishka, you want to go ahead?
We can record it from their point of view if that is the whole purpose of that. But the thing is that we want this training to be again immersive for the other ones. So rather than recording them in on a VR and then showing it out on a flat 2D screen, we'll rather suggest to record the user journey within VR and then maybe push the other employees to go on that same user journey so that they understand what is the value that they bring in with the more senior ones. That could be one of the exciting things that we should be able to do.
So I want to go back to, okay, David and Mark, we got your ideas from the beginning. What's the path to developing the tools that work in those ways? David.
This goes back to the show we did maybe a month or so ago, but I think there's just such a huge aspect of training or just education. It's probably a better way to describe it, as there's just a lot of education that goes into helping people understand where is the actual value from this tool. I get the buzzwords, as soon as I hear AI, there's kind of two camps where people are either going to dig deeper into it or they're just going to tune it out and say, I've heard enough about this. I don't get it. And so for me, education is one of the most critical pieces. And that's one of the things I really think about a lot. Just what I want to add to the show is just helping end users or anybody just understand what to look for, how it can help them. I understand that there's a lot of apprehensiveness around, is this going to take my job or what's going to happen here? And I think it's going to make us all better in the long run. So I guess trying to answer your question, Jay, I think the first step is just kind of educating the market because there's a lot of distrust. And then the second thing is just clarifying, what's the value prop? How are we really helping people do the things that they need to do? And how are we contextualizing it so that it makes sense, whether you're, a PhD in data science and analytics, or whether, you didn't go to college or just, didn't, have a high school education. Like, it should be so simple for everyone to understand. And that's one of the things that's really important to me. So hopefully I answered your question, but to me, those are the kind of first 2 points.
Well,
I think
it's tough to answer. Mark,
Yeah.
I mean, you had a long list. I mean,
Yeah,
do you hope that some will happen? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm anticipating all of it will happen one day, right? I'll be alive or dead, or sooner or later. It's all coming, right? People get smarter and technology gets better, and I think, I don't know that I could answer it any better than David just did. The only thing I would say is, from a receiver standpoint, we're a company of 4 people building an efficient model. We're forced to build an efficient model because we're only 4 people. And so to take on anything like this, it's probably an expensive, I would guess it's probably an expensive venture out of the gate, as anything is when it's new. But it's also an investment. And I think you also you look at it as evolution, right? I don't think you look at it as anything scary or it's going to replace my job. We don't. We would look at it as, we're an evolving company trying to be as efficient as possible and keep our customers as efficient as possible. So what's better than efficiency than technology? That's what we're built on. And so, I kind of look at it that way. I don't know how to adopt it. I don't know the first step into saying, push the button, sign me up. I'm sure we'll get there. There's plenty of offers. But at the very novice end of it, I know it's coming. And I know that we'll be open to it because it fits right in our efficient model.
I'm looking at your list and I'm thinking reports and insights would be maybe one of the first most doable. There's got to be AI right now, whether it's ChatGPT or other, that you can dump in raw data and tell it to give you a report.
For sure. And I think, I probably didn't mention the 2 sides of reporting that I was thinking about, but one's internal and one's external. Internal reporting for our own performance reporting as a company. But then I'm also interested in external reporting for our customers, because I think our customers always want to see the value in what they're getting for what they're paying for. And they want to see progression. They want to see left to right and up, the charts. And they want to be able to make decisions quickly. And to be able to make decisions on our site, maybe that AI comes into play.
Yeah, just briefly
ahead,
building
David.
on top of that, I think one point that comes to mind is that I think there's a lot of discomfort in the risk of outsourcing some of these analytics and predictions and all of that to, this black box, right? And so for me, I think it's important for a lot of these providers to be able to actually show their work and say, hey, this is where the data is coming from. This is how we're weighing things so that we're able to, outperform the humans that are making these decisions. Without that, you're kind of just saying, hey, trust me, I have this thing called AI and it'll work. And I don't think that sits well with any business owner or any entrepreneur or anybody in a position of, making these decisions. So again, just kind of educating your end users, educating your customers, educating anyone who's trying to understand this space. Like, this is what you need to be able to show to prove that your product works. And then this is how you can help your users kind of make that transformation that they're looking for of what is this AI thing to, oh, this is the co-pilot that helps me achieve X. In our space, I can manage 4 drivers right now, but now I can manage 20 because I have this co-pilot. I think that's going to be really critical in the months and years going forward.
I think one of the things, just to add on to that, that's guided me over my career is, I've always kind of fell back to the quote, everybody wants help, but nobody likes to ask for it. And to have that ability to tap into something where you don't have to ask for help, but it's available, right? The data is telling you the answer, or it's telling you how to move forward. I think that is maybe it plays past someone's ego, where you don't have to ask for help. But I firmly believe in everybody wants help, but it's difficult to ask for it. And if it's available to you, just to grab without maybe bothering people or showing that you don't understand, I think that's tremendously helpful. I think that's an important product to have available to people. They just don't like to ask for help.
And if you had more predictive software, let's say you were in a program and it looks like you're stuck, and there was a way for the program to say, hey, check, here's the number you're looking for, or that's that predictive point. And then on the vehicle inspection, there are AI vehicle inspection companies already out there that I wonder if they're accessible because it's early on to where you know.
They're certainly accessible. I think it goes back to, do you trust it, and what David was talking about. And so it's a learning curve in which you have to be able to trust a machine versus a person. And in the car world, a car guy, a 30-year car guy, I've been looking at cars for 30 years. I can see stuff that a machine can't. That's what people are thinking. And you have to be able to understand and learn and go through that curve and trust the fact that maybe that machine does see even more than what I have learned to see for 30 years.
That's an amazing point. And maybe, I guess, in the early days, you have a lot of duplication of work, AI and person doing the same job to compare, get results. I don't know. That's an interesting point. Kanishka?
Yeah, so definitely something to look around on that side is how things are plugged in. So it 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 happens to a recommendation engine. So there are certain things which are supporting it, and at this moment, we can do that as an experiment on seeing how a person versus and how a recommendation engine works. Probably, but I guess the answer for today would be providing it with sufficient amount of data or sufficient amount of logic behind it so that it works seamlessly for you, and then training it as per the as like a real human would do it in a real life scenario. So those are.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so those are some things to be looked into. As I can see, I've been looking into this tech for like a couple of months now, and there are there are not so good contenders out in the market, or no good enough competitions to be played around with. So yeah, in first early days, that could be something that we need to do as an experimental basis, and then probably once we have trained it and up to a sufficient level, we might be able to take help from it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just to put it in perspective, as you're looking at cars and vehicle condition reporting and that kind of thing, you're doing two things, right? You're viewing and recording the car, but then you're also making decisions, and you're making decisions on fix or repair or sell, or how much is this going to cost, and putting a value on a car, right? That's the end goal of condition reporting. And so tying those two pieces together to view, record, and then make a decision on what that car's value is in a real life scenario, I think is coming down the road.
And maybe what we can do is really with VALTEP is we can have something we can have such things placed inside virtual reality, wherein then the upcoming employees, they can analyze it, they can see basis on, like, we can have couple of uh, categorization on how this pricing is being made, and then when we put them in virtual reality, and then basis on how it has been categorized, or like how the pricing has been came up to a point, we can then ask them, and then probably that is how then the AI is again trained in the backend, so that whenever there are upcoming employees, then it acts as a supplemental program for them, apart from you just informing them as in how the price is being made. So this is something that can be also driven.
We're at the beginning of this pretty amazing journey. Caveman A is saying to Caveman B, I know we can do the shovel thing. And I would love to have seen, like, the first shovel. What did that thing look like? Because it ain't what we got now. So we're on this journey to see these tools get developed, and I'm excited about it. And just talking about this, I think the sharing of ideas went a little beyond what we expected. And I also, I was having a conversation with somebody earlier today about this journey of learning more about all these different AI, and they said, oh yeah, do you know about so-and-so and what they're working on? And there's already quite a good list. So if anybody here, this will be one of the goals of this ongoing AI takeover on ATI, is if you know of an AI, it has to be automotive. It has to be automotive in some fashion, of an AI that's being developed. I want to talk to them and see if they're right for the ATI AI takeover. We're going to stay in automotive. I did the article about the kid. Did you see the article about the kid, though, with the 911 dispatcher thing? And here's what interesting takeaway. Okay, he worked as an EMS for 2 years or something like that, right? So he had that background. Probably not even saying it right, but what do you call somebody
EMT.
that works? Yeah.
EMT.
Thank you. He worked as an EMT for 2 years, and it was during that, and I started thinking, yeah, I worked as a dispatcher for 5 years. I got all this crazy information, but he went way further. Got 24 million phone calls as the database for data against which to pit the testing, and then also added factors, zip codes, times a day, precincts. Took all this data, built this thing, which is 2% more accurate than human beings. So it's not impossible. That's a lot of work. Man, that kid, isn't that amazing? 7-year-old kid did that. Jeez.
But it's an investment, right? It's a lot of work in the beginning to make it easy at the end. And I think that's kind of what you want as your end goal. You want the simple button for your customers. And I think everything points to the investment to the people that are on this panel and others that know how to build that stuff. I haven't the first clue, Jay, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful and thankful for them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the beauty of bringing an SME, right? See, if you think about the credit unions, they can do they can be in the car shipping business, but they are not. The reason is that you have like to me, Mark having a company with 4 people and servicing 100 customers, I have no clue how he does that. Right? The same thing, like you have to come to an expert and get the job done rather than trying to DIY it. And if you DIY it, definitely the outcomes are the same, right? Not all DIY projects are going to make you money. Some of them would, but you have to put in a lot more amount of work in the front end, a lot more amount of investment in the front end to get to that answer. And usually when you're in business, you do not have that much amount of time. And either you want to invest 100K when you can just buy it. So are we planning to, like, 20 years or 10 years ago when Microsoft came with Microsoft Word, it was a clunky version. We all started using it and now it got better and better and better. Same thing with Google Maps. Like Google Maps, I remember the stories when it first came out 10, 12 years back, and folks would not use it. Oh no, I know how to navigate the traffic, and this guy only takes me through Main Street and doesn't give me shortcuts, etc., etc. And now that's not true anymore. Or probably 5 years back also it was not true anymore.
True, though. You're right. That's right. Programs. Google Maps is a good example because I almost don't go anywhere now with at least checking to see, am I in for, is there a new cliff or road closure or did something stupid happen? Yeah. But the point is that it's so reliable now. You just assume it's always been that way or will be or whatever. And
it was not made by traffic police, because it was not made by civil engineers who have built the cities. The guys who made the maps are not the same guys who built the cities. So it's just a different speciality. So we are, over a period of time, we have become more special traits, and AI is another special trait, and then AI and VR is another special trait, and AI, VR, and auction is another special trait. So we are in an era of specialization that would continue to go, and maybe after 5 years there will be another technology, and then there's another set of specialization, right? But bring this. My biggest learning as an entrepreneur is keep bringing your specialists, right? I don't do my own product mapping. I don't do my own software coding. I don't write software codes. I don't do VR work. We have different people who are doing this. They have different skill sets in my team also, and even in an auto dealership, there are different people, right? The guy is in the front end is a sales guy. The guy in the back end is an auto mechanic. It's a team of maybe 30, 40 traits that make an auto dealership successful. And the guy who is the manager of a sales guy is a different trait altogether, right? He has seen it enough that he knows how to schedule people, when people will come out, who is the greeter versus who is the sales closer. So you have to think about it from the same perspective, that bring an SME who can help you do all of this. And the second thing is bring somebody who can scale your business, right? Because there are a lot of people who have not done this enough. They would not be able to answer some questions on pricing. And somebody who is really vested and has made the investment early on, then you can get the fruits of that investment. Then you don't have to pay for the entire, you are not paying for building the product. You are just paying for renting the product. And that is where VR and AI has to be. It has to be a rentable product, like Microsoft Office is a rent product. You did not pay, or you're not paying to build it up anymore.
You know, I'm thinking right now, okay, yeah, and Gary, there's a place for you, because even if you're not a coder, you are a tester, or you can prove or disprove where this is going. And I guess I keep thinking that, so let's say you're trying to do dealership VR, and you need 30 different job perspectives. Maybe if everybody, this might not be realistic, but if everybody for a week wore like some kind of head cam, body cam, microphone cam to collect all this real-time data that can later be viewed and improved upon, and I don't know, right?
It's actually simpler than that.
It is. Okay.
See, there is enough amount of trainers available in the marketplace. They already have a curriculum that they teach to the sales guys. They already know what are the challenges in the curriculum. So I'll give you And we are just taking those challenges and supplementing it and creating more VR out of it. So, and these folks give us the situation. So it's like cartoons and animation has been around for some time, right? So we can make that, and then they will test it out for us. So before even the real user can take it, the SMEs are going to test it out for us. So definitely, when we make VR, it's a team effort, right? I have designers, we have separate VR designers, then we have specialists, course curriculum specialists, then we have developers, and then we have testers, and then we have SME testers, and then you have different devices that you need to test on. So it's a team that really goes through and get all of it done, and then you have a final product, and then that's the product that everybody starts using it. But my point, Jay, is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel in making. You are just adding one more or two more processes into it. I don't need to go and recreate the entire curriculum on training or the auto train, because if I do that, then I lose all these years of intelligence that this SME has found and is training for. His curriculum is years of experience. This show is years of making and experimenting and say how you really take 15-minute segments, 1-minute breaks, etc., right? It did not happen it did not happen overnight. The same thing, the SMEs have already known it. All we are doing is now bringing it to a new technology. That's it.
Amazing. Final thoughts. Anybody with a final thought?
Just kind of build on what Abhishek just said. I think there's going to be some really cool companies coming out in the next couple of months or years where we're talking about 3 different buckets, where there's the actual collection of the data, then there's creating the model for the data that was collected, and then there's creating that application layer where the human is interacting to be more efficient. So really excited to see what comes up in that space. And just to kind of reiterate my point earlier, for those who aren't in the weeds of technology and AI and all the buzzwords, all the acronyms, I'm really excited to see what people create, because I think there's going to be some great co-pilots and predictive analytics and automations that come out in our space and make everything better. And we're all here for the same goals, to make the industry better. So just want to kind of close with that, and yeah, that's it for me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think everything David says, it kind of hits it.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I concur.
It's hard to add to his thought process. But I will say, and I've already said it before, we run on efficiency and effectiveness in our model. And as technology evolves, I think, I don't want to call it a necessary evil, because I don't think there's evil there. It's just a learning curve. And, it's one of those where if you adapt, you're allowed to move forward,
Right. Necessary evil. Nobody walks up to their toolbox and goes, "Oh man, I got all these tools."
That's right.
They just get a bigger toolbox.
Or in my case, I just have to buy more tools because my kid loses them.
That's right. Because they're so awesome.
Yeah. And my biggest point to folks is that, guys, ask for a proof. Don't overinvest. I see so many folks who have burned their fingers, burned their hands, because somebody comes to their door and they just go after them and tries to buy the most shiny object out there, without asking them the questions, without validating it, without saying, is this going to work for it? So ask questions and work with smart folks, rather than just work with folks who are going to say, hey, yes, I'll build you an AI. Okay, where is the proof that you have built an AI? How big was it? Just a simple question. What did you do in the past? How much money you made? How did it work? Show it to me. 4 simple questions can go a long way to find the best partner. And most partners who are willing to work with you, they are willing to make that investment. And some of it, the investment is their prior experience. Like if you are an auto dealer owner for 30 years, that's your investment you have done, right? You understand the auto business. Same with somebody who comes in AI. AI may be the LLM models, or ChatGPT can be the new models, but somebody has understood, has made similar models in the past, predictive models, logistic models, your neural models, and now we are LLM models. So, but there are three generations of models that have been there in the past, and somebody should be able to speak about it and explain to you how those models were ineffective and what LLM gives you an additional edge. It's not just plugging the LLM, but it's about finding the right guy who can help you plug the LLM, because that's the guy who's going to get you the ROI.
I follow. Copy that. Kanishka, any final thoughts?
Yeah, so for me, it is distributed among the whole US economy. So for the final thoughts, it's we are getting in there. The last couple of years, it was literally due to COVID and due to pandemic, it had hit some obstacles. But certainly we are getting in there, and with this whole AI thing getting plugged in with virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality is going to it's going to give us more insights on how the businesses works or on how they operate and what could be the next state of adoption. So for my final thoughts, it's like just if possible, try and experiment around with this new tech and see how they can be plugged in into your businesses so that you would get better results for your tomorrows. So yeah, that would be all.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time tonight. Kanishka, Abhishek, David, and Mark, I really do appreciate it. This was a very productive meeting. Mark, I owe you a bear claw.
Yes, you do.
I do. Yes, I do.
Next time we see.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, listen, thanks, everybody. If you've got any follow-up, I think that there is an email now group. But if you're out there in TV land and you want to know how to learn more, Abhishek, Kanishka, is there a general mailbox? How can people get a hold of you?
I can drop my email.
If it's in the chat. If you drop it in the chat, then I need to drop the chat into the live chat. I need some AI chat to chat. But since I don't have that right now, is it the main one or is there a different one? Is it a VALTEP email?
No, you can just use the main one. That's fine.
Okay. Abhishek, right?
Yes, sir.
Abhishek.
Yes.
Huh? Is it dot or at?
At.
At VALTEP.AI?
Yes.
Abhishek at VALTEP.AI in the live chat. Visit VALTEP.AI, which I'm going to bring up that, right? That is the site, which I'll copy the URL, pop that into the live chat.
Yes.
And then there's also DASEC, which is the collection AI. And Mark, you can make a note of that. You might find that interesting.
Yeah, I'll circle that.
Which is how we actually originally met, is through DASEC, which is fascinating too. Collections AI makes sense. Why Collections AI, Abhishek?
Because see, there's so much of data that gets thrown when you want to understand the consumer behavior. So really, in order to understand the willingness to pay and the propensity to pay and the ability to pay and how do I really connect with them, there are multiple models that need to be built. So that's where the AI comes in handy. So in the human eye, we can only look at few factors, maybe 5 or 7. But in order to correlate the bigger piece, we need lots and lots of data that is already available. So that's the reason we built an AI engine that can really go in, understand the behavior of the customer, that is willingness to pay, ability to pay, and how would I influence them to pay, phone call, email, text. So lots of customers, lots of channels to connect, lots of ways to message it around. How do you find the best part forward? That's where AI is. That's where DASEC AI comes in.
Right, and if the 911 dispatcher AI can work, well, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and we can reduce the amount of, we can help you reduce a charge off by 20-30% by the second or third month. So yeah, so it's basically more money back in your pocket, essentially.
There you go. Thus the tool. The tool works.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So we're good. This was officially the first AI takeover show on ATI. We were here. Thank you very much. I really appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys.
Yeah.
Happy to
And
be a
this
part of it.
happened, Abhishek, this happened because we had that conversation about a month ago.
This happened because you wanted to bring AI and you wanted to really promote all of us. So we really appreciate that. You're giving us the time and also creating this discussion and bringing a very diverse group of folks together. But actually, from outside, it looks diverse, but it's very cohesive.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
And this is like, if you think out of a company, right? This is what is happening in a company also, right? You have multiple people, the marketing person, the salesperson, the credit person. All of us has to come together to figure out how can I implement AI. It's not one person's job anymore. So I'm really excited. I think a lot of the viewers would be able to get a lot of different backgrounds. We all come from different backgrounds, a lot of industry experience, and then sharing this. I think this I'll reuse this link and share with others about talking about VALTEP and also talking about how we can help the auto industry as a whole.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's going to be YouTube. That's YouTube on demand, LinkedIn on demand. Yeah. Give me a few days to. I don't have the AI yet, but my human being mind will. I'll do the time codes and stuff, and so that'll take me a few days. But yeah, then you'll have shareable links and stuff. Then there'll be the podcast and all that stuff too. That'll be next week. So yeah, really cool.
We would do our best to share this in our newsletter also. That hey, why don't you guys watch this nice podcast on nice videos on AI?
Awesome. All right, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. David will be in touch. Mark, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Great input. Kanishka, nice to meet you. And Abhishek, you have a good night. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
All right, cool. Well, thank you very much, TV studio audience. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for jumping in and saying hello. And whether you are, whatever you think, it's awesome. Whether you were live or on demand, or you just had your AI listen to it, give you the report back, or maybe you just tune in for the shorts. You probably, if you've been seeing, man, actually over the last 2 weeks, I had a lot of shorts coming out, and I am using. So I'm dabbling in some AI. And because AI really, it's wild, and that's why that was part of the catalyst. And also shout out to David Ray Jr. again. David asked me, "What are you doing? What's your strategy?" And as I was talking about what things I'm interested in and things I'm seeing, that's where the idea for the AI takeover came over. So through conversation and brainstorming, and then just went ahead and continued conversation and brainstorming live, and that's what this is. So thank you for being a part of it. It's ATI Auto Business. I want to thank One Auction View, Murphy Auto Transport, AuctionVCommerce, and Superflow Systems. I want to thank my feature guests, Abhishek Goel and Kanishka Gavali of VALTEP and DASEC. And I want to thank so much Mark Corrao with Kanishka Auto Auctions and David Ray Jr. I'm sorry that Brian Maxwell was unable to join us tonight, but perhaps another time. If you've got some AI you would like to talk about, please do let me know. You can send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com, or visit ATI Auto Business. Click on Contact Us. Find me on LinkedIn, find me on YouTube, and thank you so much. I'm here to help. I'm going to run the car hauler again because it just seems like the right thing to do, and I hope you've had a great April. We'll see you next month. Take care. Thank you.